About this 1 year anniversary. Where are we now compared to a year ago when it comes to Evangelical?
That's a great question. I think this organization wrestled for a long time about its future. And post-COVID, when financially things were a little bit destabilized, the goal was to make sure this place was here for good, that we were going to be here for long after, any of us are here on this earth. And I think following 1 year with Wellspan, I'm extremely confident in the future of this organization. So we have restabilized ourselves financially. The hospital was in the black to end its fiscal year. And so that's the main issue, is how are we going to financially stabilize in a very difficult time in healthcare, which is what the board could see. On the horizon, healthcare was going to get very challenging, so I feel like we've stabilized, and we're here to take care of people. So the ability to invest in new services and keep people in this organization is only getting stronger via this relationship with Wellspan. Wellspan gave us a guarantee of 3 years, $37 million each year of capital investments in the hospital, both routine capital as well as strategic capital investments. And so the first year, that's exactly what happened. This first year, they made $37 million investment into the organization. That allowed us to go out and do some new services, but to also refresh some of our spaces that we needed to refresh, and to buy some routine equipment. So for instance, we bought all new mammography equipment last year, right? On a strategic side, we've done some phenomenal things. We've added inpatient hemodialysis, something we didn't have. So we would always have patients telling us, I want to come to you to have my knee replaced. Or, the ambulance came to pick me up and I had an issue that I could see you for, but I couldn't come because you didn't have the ability to give me my dialysis. So on an inpatient basis now, we have a hemodialysis machine. The capital that they gave us allowed us to do that. We've added robotics. So we now have the Da Vinci robot, right? And our general surgeons are using it. Our urologists and our OBGYN physicians are all being trained on that. So the upside of that, the ability to, we've always wanted to get into robotics. We just hadn't in the last 5-6 years had the cash, had the operating margins that allowed us to reinvest in those types of things. These are things that help the community and things we've wanted to do, but just hadn't had the revenues and the profits to be able to do it. So I think when you look at monies, you got to look at, you can break even and say, I broke even at zero, right? Didn't lose any, but didn't gain any. If I don't gain any, and in healthcare, if you can make a 3% operating margin, it doesn't seem like much, but it's enough to allow you to reinvest in the facility and, paint your spaces, add a new service. So that's the stuff that's been really positive. We were able to secure not only those 2 physicians, but we secured 2 long-tenured urologists in the regions to join Wellspan and to make the investments in them to have our own urology practice. And those are things that, from a recruitment standpoint with physicians, physicians are looking for stable organizations, and independent hospitals, it's hard to attract really good talent because they're worried about your future. Are you going to be able to get me the equipment I need? Are you going to be able to stay in business? And so we just, that worry is gone. Wellspan made a $32.5 million investment in the workforce. So they increased the salary ranges. They increased minimum wage from $15 to $17. As an employee here, my health insurance costs me less out of pocket. So we all make contributions to our health insurance, but what Wellspan does costs less. They charge their employees less for their health insurance, so people have money in their pockets.
What have you seen this last year that has kept the balance of, we got this small town community hospital still, but we just have a corporate sort of oversight?
Right. Well, I think, I feel like, change is hard to manage, and there's always apprehension, right, with change. So internally here, everybody was like, what does this mean? What's going to happen to us? It just takes time. It takes time to assess and to show you're doing a great job. Maybe now your title's slightly different, but you're still doing the same job, and 50% of the people saw an increase in what they got compensated. So I think we're at a spot where everybody realizes it's okay. And in this workforce, you work because you're here to take care of people. And when you begin to see investments in your areas where, oh my gosh, I'm getting the new equipment that I want. Oh wow, like we get robotics. I mean, the energy here around robotics has just been incredible. People are so happy to see something new and to see that patient outcomes are better. You're here less amount of time. You recover more quickly because of the technology. No, I think, those are the biggest thing. I think in the next year you're going to see more. I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but I think you're going to see, we're in the next year or so, we're in the process of recruiting for interventional radiology. So we'll be getting into that. That's really where you use image-guided procedures to diagnose various conditions. Where you don't have to do open procedures to do that. You're using image-guided type things. And that sets the stage for us to begin to move into cancer care. And we will be getting into our own cancer services here. So that will be...
How far away is that?
Oh, hopefully within the next year or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are moving in that direction. There's recruitment going on in interventional radiology. There's recruitment going on in oncology. I think the future of Evan and Wellspan is obviously in sync. We are their hospital. So as they move forward with, basically the goal is exceptional healthcare simplified, right? So I think we're gonna see continued investments in this hospital, in this region. They love it. They love how we've kept pace all these years and that we were astute enough to say, you almost got to join somebody to ensure your future, that you can commit the dollars you need to the care of the community. And I think, all the challenges right now you read about in rural healthcare, when I go to bed at night, there's so much stuff that's on my mind, but I no longer worry about keeping the doors open and being able to keep pace, with the explosion of technology and innovation and what the workforce needs are. I feel so much better about the direction the organization is heading because we have such a solid partner, one that's aligned culturally, but one that is making significant investments in the delivery of healthcare in this region.